I just had a free Saturday, and that's a really rare thing when you're moving a family abroad. And I stood there, trash bags in hands, ready to finally destroy the junk drawer. But 30 minutes later, I was paralyzed on the floor, holding a candle in my hand from 2011. And this candle wasn't the problem, it was the knot in my gut that I felt. And I've been a professional organizer for years, but this move taught me one thing: decluttering is never about the stuff, it's about the guilt we chain to it. So today we're going to break that chain, so you can let go of the clutter without feeling like you're losing people, memories, or money. Stick with me, we're going to keep the love and lose this candle. So it turns out the knot in my gut is not unique. 70% of us keep things because we feel guilty getting rid of them. And the average living room, hear me out, has around 300 unused gifts. 300, the average living room. We've turned our homes into museums of obligation. And as I pack my own family's life, I'm ready to shut that entire museum down for good. So the first question is, why does guilt hijack our trash bags? Guilt is kind of a con artist. I've seen it in my own life and in my work. It wears 5 different disguises to convince you that getting rid of a shit mug is some kind of moral failure. So the first one is the gift guilt. And this is a lie that the giver's love is physically baked into this ceramic unicorn that they gave you. The second one is the money guilt. And that is the voice that kind of whispers that throwing out this $90 blender you maybe used twice is the same thing as setting a pile of cash on fire. The third one is the memory guilt. The one that swears if you get rid of your grandmother's old Afghan, you'll somehow delete her from your entire memory. And the fourth one is the future guilt. And this one threatens you, saying the person you might be tomorrow will desperately need the scrapbook paper you haven't touched since 2004. And the last one is the waste guilt. This insists that your one t-shirt is the final straw that will cause the polar ice caps to melt. So, but I tell you, once you can name the con, you can start to fight back. Let's dive into that. First, the gift guilt. Keep the love, lose the object. So, the joy of a gift is in the moment of the exchange. The transaction is over. We are the ones who glue the meaning of that moment to the physical object. Here's what I'm practicing. I hold the object and I thank it. I say out loud, the moment happened, the memory is mine, the object is free to go. If you have to, snap a picture. Your neighbor is not hiding in the bushes doing surveillance of your donation bin. And if she is, that's a problem for a different video. The second one, the money guilt. Turn your sunk cost into an insight. So the money guilt, I really feel this one deep, because here's the hard truth, that cash is gone. It left your bank account, it left your wallet the second you bought the item. And whether it sits in your kitchen or it rots in a landfill, the money is not coming back. Economists call this a sunk cost fallacy. So instead of letting it chain you to a bad purchase, turn it into a lesson. You paid a $90 tuition fee to learn that you don't actually like making smoothies. A client of mine finally sold a treadmill she never used, put the cash into an envelope and marked it Europe Fund, and the guilt was vanished. The lesson was learned. Third, the memory guilt. Store the stories, not the stuff. And this one is tough, especially for parents. And I look at my kids' little projects and feel like I'm throwing their childhood in the garbage. But let's be honest, your memories are in your brain and not in the box. And neuroscientists agree. They have confirmed this. A Princeton study even showed that when people photographed sentimental items before donating them, the memories didn't fade. In our house, where we have a rule, especially with this move, 1 shoebox per person for keepsakes. And if something new comes in, something old has to go. So we take a picture of the outgoing item and write a 2-sentence story on the back, and the story is saved. Then number 4, the future guilt. Trust tomorrow's problem solver. So you have maybe that voice whispering, but what if I need this someday? I hear it constantly. But here's a fact. 82% of the things we save just in case are never, ever, ever used again. So stop asking what you might need. Ask a harder question. Is it truly irreplaceable? Your grandmother's handwritten letters? Irreplaceable. Your child's first footprint? Irreplaceable. That half-used bag of macrame cord for a hobby you abandoned years ago? It's replaceable. Trust that your future self is smart and resilient enough to solve a problem without that specific thing. Your future self needs room to breathe, not a storage unit full of maybes. And last but not least, the waste guilt. Exit responsibly. As a parent, this one hits hard because I don't want to leave a bigger mess on this planet for my kids. But the environmental cost of an item is almost entirely in its manufacturing. So your job now isn't to feel guilty about owning it. Your job is to guide it to its next destination. Be its responsible final manager. So I'm spending my packing time on buy nothing groups and finding e-waste centers. A friend's broken vacuum, for example, went to a local tinkerer who fixed it for a college kid. And that's the mission. We are not just getting rid of things, we are giving them a new life. All right, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, name your enemy. Which guilt is it? Gift, money, memory, future, or waste? Put it down there and I'll jump with a reframe to help you fight it. Okay, here's a battle plan I'm using in my own house right now. You get 3 boxes. You get keep, donate, and maybe. The rule for the first pass, you touch each item only once. Move. Get it in the box. And when that maybe box is full, you set a timer for 15 minutes and make the final call. Go. Motion kills overthinking. And look, if you cry, you cry. I have to. It's part of the process. It's the guilt leaving your system. It's kind of relieving. And when you're done, write down what you gained. Space, clarity, peace, and tape that piece of paper to the wall. That's what you're fighting for. And now, one of my last tips is create a guilt-free ritual. And this might feel strange, but you need to create a ritual to mark the closing of a chapter. You have to signal your brain that it's over. You can, for example, light a candle, or you can just say thank you and let it go. It doesn't have to be solemn. The other night, for example, my husband and I had a goodbye fashion show, and we were putting on all the clothes that we have outgrown. So we did a ridiculous one-way walk, and then we threw clothes in the donate pile. And we were kind of laughing, and there was no room for sadness. It just has to be intentional. All right, one last point, maintenance without martyrdom. This isn't a one-time war. It's about defending your territory. Guilt will try to invade again. And my plan for after the move is to schedule monthly 10-minute sweeps. That's the patrol. I also have dedicated gift bin. When a gift comes in that I know isn't for us, I snap a photo for the thank you note and the item goes straight into the bin to be passed on. I kind of call it emotional composting. You take it in the scraps, turn them into something useful for something else, and there's zero waste and zero guilt. So decluttering is not a judgment on how grateful you are, how smart you are with the money, or your character as a person. It's a vote for the life you want to be living right now. The candle, the blender, the cord, it's all just stuff. The love, the lesson, the memories, that's the real payload. And that always fits, so tie the donate bag, get it into the car before the guilt has time to fight back, and go enjoy the space you just want for yourself.